chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Donald Trump's top general has called Trump, and I quote, fascist to the core. He said he will target and punish those who disagree with him.
Ay.
Do your knees sound like this when you squat?
Most people don't know it's okay to lose your receipts. You could file these.
So Rockland County, huh?
Yep.
I'm going to be really careful when I talk about this. I mean, it's not like I'm getting views anyway. TikTok suppresses everything that I do, so I'm not risking much. But that contest back in November, this Rockland County lawsuit is significant. If you're wondering, like, how is this lawsuit?
And found faith.
Within Rockland County, where Echo 35 went 79% for the Democratic.
All right. Enough of that. Gorsh. You there, get ready to run. Time is of the essence. Huh? I knew Amara has escaped into the forest. The carnivorous beast and bandit-filled forest. Wicked White, my contacts at the Crystarium told me it was meant to be trained. Anyway, we need as many people as possible out there looking for it. Its handler is leading the search, as he should, in the forest of the Lost Shepherd. Go, go! Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba! What's up, Tabs? Not my first time streaming, no. Ha 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 ha. Wahoo! Oops. Ah. I hate to be abroad, but can you help me? Oh goodness, it's you! The one who turned the tide at Holminster Switch. Well, I feel doubly bad about this now, but I have little choice. I need any help that I can get. Thanks to the Eaters, everything not in ruins, and everything not in ruins is in disarray. And I'm working to determine what material we have, but that requires sifting through it all. And if I don't know what we need, it will be fruitless, so we won't be able to order in. Okay. Whoa, I can fly. Such devastation! Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. Ba 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 da ba ba ba. ba 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 da 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 ba 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 na 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 That definitely wasn't there before.
Farasitha, Krakleath.
Oh, you're found! How did this mortal know our trick?
Wait! I recognize their souls. These two have been here before.
Before!
Look, twins! How adorable!
Oh!
Play with us!
We have neither the time nor inclination to play. We have come to see Urianger.
Oh yes, Urianger, the peculiar one. In return for a place in Elmeg, he agreed to a riddle contest with us for 7 days and 7 nights without any sleep.
Oh, that was so much fun! We must do it again!
I'm sure he'd be delighted. Now, if you'd be so kind as to lift your spell.
Shall we?
Should we? Would we?
What now?
I don't know, but this is their home, so we must indulge them.
Right, we've made up our minds. We will lift our spell on one condition, that you first lend us a helping hand. Or 2, or 3. Once you've helped solve all of our troubles, we'll let you see Urianger. Pixie's honor.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with helping
Well, there you
out.
have it. Pixie chores. I suggest we split up.
Ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 ba. Oh dear. Oh my. Pixie chores. I'll be right back. Fucking energy for this shit. Oh gosh, alright, I'll bring it back. Oh wait, no it didn't. Where's my phone?
On TikTok, I'm seeing maggot after maggot post this morning about how they're gonna get an $8,000 refund, tax refund from Donald Trump because Doge and Elon Musk have cut all this.
I couldn't figure out a way to make a thumbnail that didn't look like some sensationalist doomer clickbait, so I just drew Toad with cancer. I hope that's alright. Mario Kart World has been out for about 3 days now, at least at time of recording, and after clocking around 20 hours, I'm left feeling very... well, I don't know how exactly to describe it. but I do know what I keep asking.
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? What kind of crack were they smoking? What the fuck were they fucking thinking?
What were they thinking?
The game is gorgeous visually, and the soundtrack is an incredible genre-spanning love letter to the entire... A Mario franchise, but it's hard to fully appreciate these things when there are so many questionable choices made with the gameplay. There are a lot of things I could nitpick about, but the real reason I'm making this video is because of two giant deal breakers. I thought about writing a big structured preamble, but I think it'd be best if I just ripped the band-aid off and let this rank take whatever shape it wants, as my two issues are more or less interconnected anyway. Let's start with the irregular online queue. As I'm sure you're all aware, Mario Kart World's Grand Prix has intermission tracks in between each course where you drive across the game's open world to the next destination. And while there's some variance, these tend to mostly be wide straightaways with very little in the way of interesting track design. A neat idea with somewhat clumsy implementation. Unfortunately, this is also the way it works online. Why is it that when I race on Toad Factory, what I'm actually doing is driving along the intersection to Toad Factory from somewhere else, doing one lap, then fucking off elsewhere? It's completely nonsensical. The route from Cooper Beach to Peach Stadium is a straight line. The minimap looks like a fucking pregnancy test. Why is there more focus on the straightaway interludes than the actual courses? Did they really think that these were this fire? And the game has the bollocks to play Mario Kart 8 music during these sections. Like, damn, yeah, don't tempt me or anything, Jesus Christ. And you know, hey, mind that you don't get too invested in the race once you reach the destination track, because remember, you only get one lap. God forbid you get hit by a blue shell, you might as well put the controller down and call your grandparents at that point. I have next to no opinions on most of the tracks in this game because I've spent more time just fucking driving to them than actually playing them. Like, if you pick Cooper Beach when it shows up in the random selection, first of all, what's wrong with you? But second of all, do you realize what you're actually doing is selecting the dumbass whitewater rafting section before the one actually 15-second long lap of Cooper Beach? What's the point? Why is Cooper Beach only taking up about 10% of the fucking race on Cooper Beach? As annoying as all this is though, it can at least be mitigated. Occasionally the random selection will give you the option to pick a 3-lap race, if the course is far away enough from where you're currently milling around on the map. You can also pick random, which always gives you 3-lap races no matter what. Expect entire lobbies to just be picking random every time within a few days. The larger issue I have with Mario Kart World is just the gameplay itself. Oh man, what is going on here? Look, even as someone who considers Mario Kart 8 to be as close to perfection as the series has ever gotten, it's not like I think it's sacred. I was open to seeing how the gameplay might be tweaked, but instead it seems like the developers were the ones tweaking. Why is this game a bagger's wet dream? Any nuance the driving had in 8 seems to have been toned down in favour of just absolutely juicing the items. I have never played a Mario Kart game where they feel this goddamn overpowered, not even Wii. It feels like every single race is decided by which of the 12th to 8th place dregs got the best pull on lap 3, making the entire rest of the race meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Which, by the way, includes those long-ass intermission... Mission straightaways. Nothing you do during these matters at all. People big up the giant mushroom cuts you can do here as a reason why these aren't god awful to drive on. But that kind of falls flat when being in first place during these means jack shit anyway. In fact, it seems optimal to instead hang back around 12th so you can get the best items for the final lap. Like, check out this run of mine on Sky High Sunday. Approaching the end of the intermission, I'm in 16th place. I managed to roll triple on Gold Mushroom, one of the best possible pulls. After using the triple mushrooms to pull into a more relevant position, I managed to pull a Mega Mushroom, which combined with my gold is one of, if not the strongest combo in the game right now. After popping my gold and Mega, I've more or less teleported into second place where I get another incredible pull, a Mushroom, allowing me to overtake Cooper here, taking the win. Now I ask you this, at what point during any of this did I display a modicum of skill? Fucking nowhere. I didn't take the optimal route or drive particularly well, I just happened to roll the right items at the right time.
Yeah.
Not that it would even matter because front running is a complete meme in this game. One blue shell is enough to knock you back about 11 places. Now check out this Rainbow Road run. I've been front running for over a minute at this point. In 8 that probably would have been a checkmate. But the pack isn't far off, because legitimately making space between yourself and everyone else is for some reason incredibly hard in this game. I even managed to tank the blue, but then I'm defenseless and one red shell knocks my ass off the track. And then another, and then I get crushed. Boom. 17th place. I was literally joking about this a year ago. I can't stress it enough. This game's entire core seems to revolve around mid-pack RNG item wanking, instead of actual skillful driving. They're how you'll pull ahead, they're how you'll fall behind.
残念です。
behind, and they'll be how you pull ahead again at the last second. And I can hear the "duh, skill issue" comments from a mile away, but here, my highest VR or whatever was over 8600 points. That's not amazing or anything, but it's enough to be higher than most other players in the lobbies I join. But regardless, I've been watching pro players' streams and this bullshit happens to all of them constantly as well. Getting Mario Karted has always existed, but most of the time a good player would still win because skill triumphed over RNG. This game is just anally violating everyone regardless of skill level. One of the first things that was frustrating me on launch day was having no idea whatsoever how to organically overtake people. In 8 it was as simple as driving the track better than your opponents, but in World everyone seems to move at the same sluggish pace and top speed feels like you're trying to run away from someone in a dream. It's led to a lot of people thinking this game is too slow overall. While there are some moments where it feels incredibly kinetic and fast paced, there are others where you're just driving in a straight line desperately wondering why you can't just fucking go. I get that every Mario Kart feels different to a certain extent, but skills were at least transferable between entries. Each race in this game feels like a crapshoot I have no agency over. I just can't understand why the item balance is like this. Either it's a gigantic oversight or Nintendo's vision for Mario Kart is it just being a dumb fucking roulette wheel. I mean, maybe you could make the argument that we just don't really know how to play it yet, but how else do you play this shit? I really don't understand what else we could possibly be doing. Honestly, the increased player count might be the thing to primarily blame for all of this, but we can't even make a separate lobby for 12 races because they've nixed the tournament mode. So unless you've got 12 mates that are always ready to play at the drop of a hat, get used to the 24-player shit show. Even if they did cut the player count in half though, I have another pretty big gripe with the gameplay that involves the new Jet Set Radio-ass wall riding and grinding mechanics. On paper this shit looked hype as fuck, but in practice? Dude, most rail and wall shortcuts are slower than just going down the less interesting main pathways. Check out this one in Dino Dino Jungle. I wall jump off this rail into this upper tunnel, but look, my position is literally going down. Hey, look at all this crazy shit I can do up here! Oh man, there goes my asshole Ghost Data who's just playing the course normally. You see this epic ass parkour in Salty Speedway? Slower than just driving down the canal. That's my ass. There was one race on Wario Stadium where I just kind of stopped paying attention and decided to ride on all the rails because it's fun as shit. Ended up in like 21st place. Why are the more fun routes that are more taxing on the player slower? Why am I being punished for putting in more effort? Now to be fair, there are a lot of bonkers, awesome shortcuts that you can do that are actually optimal. But there seems to be just as many that, while extremely fun to pull off, are completely pointless and detrimental in an actual race. It's dumbfounding. Why are all these outside drift rails here? Who is ever going to use these? The only application I can possibly think of is using them to steer clear of the pack, but when the pack is as intimate as it is in this game, that's a good way to lose a valuable position. Again, in 8 Deluxe, it didn't really matter much if I did the optimal route or not, because it was actually possible to build up a decent lead in that game. Look guys, I have no agenda to push here. I didn't wait 11 years for this game just to hate on it when it comes out. These are just my thoughts after my initial playtime. In fact, I waved away a lot of the criticisms and anxiety surrounding the game during its pre-release, simply because I was resting assured that Nintendo would deliver. Because it's Mario Kart, one of the biggest game franchises in the world. They can't afford to mess it up. They know what they're doing. Now I'm sitting here 3 days later thinking that they genuinely didn't. Now to be clear, I don't want to make a judgment call on the game overall. Not everything has been figured out, meta could develop, yada yada yada. But dude, this isn't a fighting game. I don't need to spend 7 hours in the lab before I feel confident.
残念です。
Saying that something feels wrong here. Everyone I've been playing with and talking to has echoed the same sentiments I'm feeling. I couldn't in good faith say that I haven't been having any fun. I mean, you know, it's Mario Kart at the end of the day, but there's been far more frustration than I ever could have expected. I've never had a single problem jumping to a new Mario Kart game before, and I've been playing since Double Dash. I'm finding myself thinking back to Mario Kart 8's launch on Wii U. I didn't have a single issue with that game. It fit like a glove immediately, it was just perfect. Maybe this is how we diehards felt 11 years ago, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I'm really curious to see what the general consensus on this game is turning out to be. And hey, if you've got any...
Oh, pancake meal? What is this, the pancake and bumblebee? Oh, this is like honey pancakes. Oh, chomp that Wario. Oh, he's Bumble Wario. Oh my god. Oh, what's this now? Peach's statue. Oh, Peach's medallion. Oh, there's Peach. I gotta... Oh, should I take out Princess Peach? Should I wipe her out? Do I get her car if I kill her? Like Burnout? What was that? What did I just do? Did I just get a stamp? Did I just get a stamp?
So Mario Kart World's main selling point is obviously the open world. It's in the title. If you tell me anything different, I'm actually going to kill you. There is no way. It is the open world. That is what makes this game special. That's what makes this game so different from every other game. known to man in the Mario Kart series. That is what makes this game what it is. And I personally think there are a lot of ways the open world impacts the way that you experience this game in a positive way. So I want to go over those first before I start talking my shit, okay? Because I know people are going to get upset if I just frame one hop into the bad. So let's buttress it a little bit, all right? The Grand Prix that you do are very heavily impacted by the fact that this is an open world game. The intermission sections, they are a big deal, right? Like, a lot of the content that you experience, I think, is greatly benefited by the fact that this is one giant interconnected world. I think the linear content of this game, Knockout Tour, that type of oh my god, perfect. Feels great having it in this kind of open world setting. I think one minor complaint is that I would actually like to have the ability to go and play some of these stages with just 3 laps. I wish that was an option. I think one of the biggest problems with this game is the fact that it lacks a severe amount of options for a game that's worth $80, but whatever. Okay, I'll talk about that maybe more another time. It's fine. But like, that's nice, right? The linear content in this game is super cool, and I think the fact that this is an open world game heavily impacts that content in a good way. However, when it comes to the actual free roam, which is one of the biggest things that Nintendo showcased for this game, one of the huge things that makes Mario Kart World, this shit is kind of boring after a little while. I'm sorry. I just genuinely feel that way. I'm not even saying that the open world is bad. I think there's interesting stuff to do, and there's these small challenges, and you know, that's nice and that's great, and it gives you an excuse and a way to go about unlocking a lot of the character costumes, which is a problem in its own right, because that is the most boring experience I've ever fucking had playing this game so far. Just running around trying to unlock all these goddamn costumes. Like, oh my god, stop. No, that was no. it was really not what felt like a natural progression for unlocking some of this stuff. But like, it gives you opportunities to experiment with stuff, to have fun and run around and try skips and stuff. But I just don't think it does much other than that. You know, it provides very little interesting content that I think makes this worth $80, you know? The small challenges are nice, they're fun in their own right, but they are not insane content. It's usually like fucking 8 seconds worth of content, 4 to 8 seconds, and then you're kind of done, you're out of there. And beyond...
The Nintendo Switch 2 is out! I've got my hands on one for the purposes of review, of making this video, and if you've seen the thumbnail, you already know where this is headed. Now, let me just start off by saying that I think that console launches have changed a lot. From being this huge moment of excitement and coming home with a haul of games and just being excited at everything, looking forward to everything, and from the PS4 onwards to now, they've become like promises of the future. They are just selling you hope that later on it will be a worthwhile purchase. And the Nintendo Switch 2 aligns with that perfectly. It also aligns with just being very iterative. It is definitely true to its name. It's a Nintendo Switch, but more. It's a more powerful and overall better Nintendo Switch, and with a price tag to accompany that. But it's also coming in at a time where customers have the least faith they've ever had in the video game industry, and where more and more customers every day are more savvy and more in tune with it as we get more careful with our spending. And the combination of these things all together really play against the Switch 2, and ultimately lead me to the conclusion that I can only in good faith recommend this console to a very small number of people, a very specific group of people, and definitely I cannot recommend it to most people. There is a lot about the Switch 2 that I just don't like. There is a lot about its software offerings. There is a lot about the console itself that I think is lacking, especially for the price point. There is a lot that I don't like about what it symbolizes for the industry and how it's kind of pushing us in a direction that I don't think is healthy for it.
Okay, let's stop here. I don't want to get into all this today, so I will be back with more.